white cloaks in right?
Watching The Wheel of Time Season 3, Episode 6, I'm reminded of a term paper that a student had procrastinated on for several months and then scrambled to finish in the last hours of the semester. There's no coherent thesis, half-baked ideas are introduced and then discarded seemingly at random, and the entire thing is long and meandering, not because it has anything interesting to say, but because there wasn't time to edit it down into something more concise. As I watch Matt's sisters heal Alana because the show has written itself into a corner, it's hard to deny that this show is in the midst of its death throes. We start off the episode with Leandrin's backstory. There's no time for Tam Thor, but let's find out about how Leandrin only joined up with the Shadow because she was a 14-year-old mother who had just killed her abusive husband. Wildly, for other inexplicable reasons, we actually already know all of this shit. It's already been told to us in a previous season. So it's a massive waste of time to show us this, even beyond it being a massive waste of time for it to exist in the first place. We're then treated to even more Leandrin. Motherfucker, I know it's not Rafe, but is there some producer that Kate Fleetwood is blowing to be getting all of this screen time? Evidently, Lanfear is concerned that one of Leandrin's cabal is working for Robin, and Leandrin needs to find that sister and kill her. It's worth noting that Leandrin has no proof here, just a general gut feeling leading to murder. Leandrin then provides another briefing on the male Adam. This is at least the 5th time this exposition is dropped. How dumb does this show believe its audience to be?
I know, I got it. I got the concept.
Also, Hadi Sadai has a new white streak in her hair. Why is this, you ask? Because the show forgot it was going to need another physical descriptor of her for a later scene. Ironically, it was not necessary in the least. Min and Nynaeve could have just described her as the pretty one, and the entire audience would have known who was being talked about. The girls then get dressed and talk about their plans, which is apparently just going downtown and asking random strangers. Also, Matt is dressed in this thing. There is no way you will ever convince me that this show doesn't absolutely loathe masculinity in all of its forms. Egwene gets chewed out for going to Tar without supervision before the Wise Ones then tell her that her best chance to survive Lanfear will be in her own dream. Far be it for me to complain about not getting enough Egwene screen time. Lord knows I'm drowning in it. But Egwene confessing to lying to the Wise Ones and everybody shrugging it off as inconsequential is a major fuck-up. Egwene taking her whooping for lying to the Wise Ones was both the last time that the psychopath known as Egwene took any responsibility for her actions, and also the moment when she realized that as long as she was willing to take the punishment, she could just do whatever she wanted. It is maybe the single most significant character development moment in the series for her.
Get me a switch!
Lanfear then bursts into Moraine's dream and threatens to kill Moraine before telling her that she will be sending a little surprise and warning her not to get involved. We are 10 minutes into this episode and a man has not yet said a word, and before anybody tells me in the comments that Matt has some dialogue, Matt is a woman in all but title in this show. Moraine just taking another set of stand-down orders from Lanfear is absolutely insane. We did this back in episode 1, and it ended up with Nynaeve bleeding out on the floor. A very huffy conversation occurred about it. Rand then wanders into the garden with Avienda. She describes...
This overhang keeps the rocks in shade all day, so the water doesn't dry out.
And maybe I'm just bad at perspective, but I'm not seeing an overhanging rock. Did they forget to CGI one in? Eventually the pair find Ruark's granddaughter, who is growing squash. Rand apparently dishonors her by touching her stick, and, fuck me, why is he kneeling in apology to a 9-year-old and not dealing with clan chiefs? Perrin and Alana are both dying, and I am on the edge of my seat, fully sprung. Do it, Rafe. You know Perrin is just getting in the way of Alana and Maxim leading the defense of the two rivers like you envisioned.
Come on, I want you to do it. I want you to do it. Come on, hit me. Come on, hit me. Come on, hit me.
Paden Fane is apparently back. I hope he's successful in bringing the vile murderer Perrin to justice. I genuinely thought there might be some self-reflection about murdering Jeffrey Bornhold this season. Hasn't come up. This show has wildly broken morality. Back in Tanchico, Elaine is getting hit on. Matt then hears singing, and it's Tom Marilyn. Matt steals his purse, and then they chat like they know each other? This has to be super confusing if you've only watched the show. These guys had like one conversation 4 years ago, and they're now acting like best buddies. That's not how character development works. Min decides Nynaeve needs to get drunk as part of a very important intel gathering mission, at which point they find the Black Aja because Min sees a random guy that a Black Aja member talked to at the supermarket.
Really?
Apparently, Hadi Sadai needed the white streak in her hair for this scene. I am blown away by the creative imaginary vision that this writing room has. Leandrin and Tiny Sadai talk, and apparently Tiny can't wipe Leandrin's memory? I genuinely have no idea what this scene is for. It's like it's from a different episode. Mogi then is randomly disgusting. I'm sure we're going to learn some nonsensical bit of bullshit about why her fingers are always black in the season finale, but for the love of God, can we stop spending time with this stupid character? Egwene is then getting more Dreamwalker training, and she's able to push the Wise Ones out of her dream before immediately getting kidnapped by Lanfear. Lanfear lies that Rand knows Lanfear is torturing Egwene, and then Egwene escapes again with the magic top. This love triangle needs to die. It is utterly worthless. Rand is then back and he bumps into Moraine, who is fingering the Sarkhanen. It's demonstrative of the show's priorities that Rand doesn't ask if he's going to save the world, but instead asks about Egwene. Rand and Moraine then talk about Saidin and Saidar. Rand encourages her not to submit to the One Power, and I swear to God, if she ends up using the male half of the Source through the Sarkhanen, I'm not going to make it. He also makes a mountain move. Fael and Perrin then talk more. Apparently, Fael's mother was a dark friend who killed her brother, which is why Fael fled Saldea. Perrin confesses to the murder of his wife, and Jesus Christ, how long is this scene? This is crazy how much time this is taking. Dane Bornhold is looking at Natty's charred corpse reluctantly when Padden Fane and his boys roll in. I have many questions here, but my first one is, why are there 2 Padden Fane introduction scenes? Tom and Matt then converse about important things before Tom gets distracted and he and Elaine have to perform a musical number. A musical number about titties.
She's getting digged down in Dallas, real out and wrong, tag teamed up in Tennessee.
The entire premise of this is just so wildly forced. Somehow this random street cretin knows that Elaine is the daughter heir of Andor. I assume based on a quick Google search and looking at her OnlyFans page? In the inside the episode, we get a look at what motivated this scene, and we find out why it exists.
This episode was kind of cooked up at like the cast party in season 2. There was a band playing, and then they were like, "Oh, we heard Kira can sing."
Wow.
And Kira's like, "Oh no, I mean I couldn't. Oh my God, I couldn't possibly." And then finally the microphone ends up in her hands, and she's like, "Summertime." You know, like we were all like, "Oh my God, can she sing?" You know. And the next day in the writers' room, we're like, "We gotta write an episode where this girl gets to sing."
Right.
This is what's fucking wrong with this show. Rather than trying to adapt and tell the story, they decided that they liked the actress and thought it would be fun to do. And they ended up with this nonsense. Min and Nynaeve then discover where the Black Aja are a second time. This old man hears them talking and tells them that Leandrin is up near the creepy manor house. But now, one of the other Dark Sisters is overhearing the old man overhearing Nynaeve and Min. How is this real? Is this the only bar in this fucking city? Leandrin then interrogates Tiny Sadai before murdering her. Fucking sweet. Let's start culling this cast down. And then Alana and Maxim are convinced that Alana is going to die. Remember when I said that the way they healed Alana was going to be difficult? I once again am reminded what show I'm watching. Matt's sisters heal Alana.
Actually, it's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
If random people picked quite literally off the street can do this, why does the White Tower exist? Is training needed to use the One Power or not? Healing is supposed to be immensely difficult. Perrin confesses to being a wolf brother. Literally all evidence to the contrary. He then says,
"The hunt for the horn. Just an excuse to get away from Saldea."
I know this guy is dense, but did he miss her long, tragic backstory? Her mother's a dark friend, killed a brother, Fael had to run away to stay alive. Is any of this ringing a bell? She said it like 4 minutes ago. He informs her that Matt blew the Horn of Valir, and she gets mad at him, and then they kiss. And Damn, that was quick. Remember in the books when relationships occurred after characters got to know one another? Everybody is just a slut in this show.
I became a total slag.
Nynaeve and Min then drunkenly stumble around until they find Elaine and Matt. They are justifiably worried about Elaine not blending in. And then a random guy shows up and hands Matt one of the bracelets they've been looking for.
Really?
This entire episode is amazing. Shit just happens for no reason whatsoever. Mogideon then gets with this Black Aja sister who is reporting to Ravin and interrogates her before killing her. I guess Leandrin got the wrong person, but that's fine. More Black Sisters dead is a good thing. Mogideon then comes in and compulses Nynaeve and Elaine into answering her questions. I've never been the biggest fan of this scene in the books. It felt like the good guys didn't deserve to win, but it's even more egregious here. This should be the end of the story. I see no reason why Mogideon wouldn't take Nynaeve to the Dark One immediately if she's actually one of the important Ta'veren. But I guess the girls are only Ta'veren for the good stuff. Her excuse for not killing Elaine is that it would make Ravin happy, which, what? Why? Why does Ravin give a shit? He's already proven he can easily control her mind. Also, weren't these two goobers on the same side back in episode 3? They convened after the meeting with Lanfear in order to go over plans. Rand and Egwene then have relationship drama, and he gets yelled at for cheating. Rand even gets a shot in this argument, which is insane because Egwene is 100% in the right here. Then they finally mercifully break up. Thank the creator, this shit is done. The big takeaway seems to be that Rand learned Lanfear was torturing Egwene, and maybe coming around on Lanfear being actually evil. Which, no shit. Did you miss the massacre of all the people in Cairhien? Samael and the Shido then attack and blast Egwene and Rand. I don't know what Samael's intention here was, but he got a clean shot and all it seemed to do was knock them back. Is Samael retarded? Egwene seems to have become way weaker in the One Power since she battled Ishamael to a stalemate in foam, because she struggles with these Shido. I genuinely feel absurd speaking that sentence. Also, why does Samael have a giant fucking hammer Terangriel that seems to be super shitty? Isn't this guy supposed to be a blade master? Abienda shows up with fire spears to save them? Fucking what? She's been a Wise One apprentice for like 8 hours and can already make weapons of flame? Does anybody need training for anything in this show other than Rand? Rand then ascends to God mode and just obliterates Samael. I know I've been complaining a lot that Rand is a fucking poodle in this show, but what? Samael is not a throwaway villain. Samael is a fucking monster. You don't just wipe him out with your back turned to him. How the hell did Rand do this? We then find out in the process that Ruark's granddaughter was killed. Rand tries to bring her back like he did with the child in the books. Moraine sees Rand channeling then? This has to be confirmed at this point. Why would she stop Lan from approaching? This is another scene, though, that's good. Mostly based on how great of a scene it is in the books, and it still misses out. The scene captures the heartbreaking elements, but it misses the terror and the revulsion at the limited success he has in reanimating this girl's body without the soul. It's a good scene as is, but it could have been much better. I genuinely like the silence that follows here of everybody having a what the fuck moment. Most of the show's attempts at melodrama fall flat. This one actually landed for me. I don't know if I'm supposed to think Samael is dead or just unconscious. I'm praying to God that he's dead and not just this season's Asmodean. And then we see Trollocs coming out of the Waygate, and that's the episode. The more I watch of this season, the more I grow convinced that this is both the best season and still a remarkable disappointment. Clearly more book material is being used than in previous seasons, but that book material is being wedged in places where it doesn't fit. Complicated and nuanced story threads like the Tanchico search are clearly beyond the skills of this writing team, so they're grabbing highlights and not the meat of the story, making everybody look ridiculous. This isn't remotely helped by the refusal to cut the extremely unnecessary Alana and Leandrin parts of the show. And maybe more than anything else, characterization has collapsed. As much as Rand and the little girl are inoffensive, Rand, Matt, and Perrin all need to be acting like men in every scene, not just in the highlight scenes from the books that are pulled in. There are bits of this episode that work, but it's all way too rushed. Maybe there is something to be said about there not being enough episodes to tell this story right on screen, but I'd like to find out, and all the extra bullshit being added is preventing that from happening. Anyway, that's what I got. On your way out the door, if you could hit the like and the subscribe button and even throw a comment down in the box, I would really appreciate it, as it does make a difference in how many people see these videos. Walk in the light, boys.